Chapter 164 Silvermoon Wolf King. Huo put his soul power into the all-terrain exploration vehicle, and its 6 mechanical legs began moving. It followed this branch of the trail until they passed a narrow downslope, finally entering the main trail of the Jingyang mountain range. Huo currently was observing the geography of the Jingyang mountain range from above. The main trail of the Jingyang mountain range was ovular. Although it was his first time here, he could roughly discern the distribution of soul beasts, referencing his experiences with the Great Stardo Forest. The weaker and smaller soul beasts lived near the outermost perimeter of the mountain range, while the stronger ones lived somewhat deeper in. As long as they didn't venture in too deep, they shouldn't be in much trouble. After all, the silver wolf's scent could only spread outwards a certain distance, and shouldn't be able to reach all the way to the core of the mountain range. The silver wolf's profuse bleeding hadn't caused any trouble for them, or at least not yet. Most soul beasts would flee after detecting the scent of the silver wolf's blood. This was very evident when Huo used his spiritual detection. He discovered that even some of the 1,000-year soul beasts would escape after catching a whiff of the silver wolf's blood. Just like this, they were advancing faster and faster along the path. Huo quickly controlled the all-terrain exploration vehicle to ascend a nearby mountain peak within the outer boundaries of the Jingyang mountain range. He didn't dare expend too much of his soul power as they ventured into the habitats of these soul beasts. After restoring part of his abilities from the mountain peak, he looked into the distance. Like most mountain ranges, the Jingyang mountain range's mountain peaks were higher the closer to the center you got. However, not all of them were steep inclines, and there were some with quite gentle inclines. The quantity of soul beasts near the main trail was much greater. They were easily comparable to the soul beasts at the edge of the Great Stardo Forest. However, they didn't reveal themselves because of the silver wolf's blood. Huo sat cross-legged on the ground and allowed the wind to blow against him softly. He wasn't being adventurous when he leaned on the all-terrain exploration vehicle. The two ladies couldn't see his face. A streak of golden light flashed across his forehead, and the Eye of Destiny quietly opened. Huo's spiritual world had experienced earth-shaking changes after he had received the Eye of Destiny. Neither the Sky Dream Iceworm, the Ice Empress nor Electrolux could control his body anymore because of the Eye of Destiny, unless he allowed it. Even so, he could instantly regain control of his own body with his will even if he invited them to control his body. Him using the Eye of Destiny right now wasn't to enhance his spirit eye's visual acuity. When he opened them, the aura of destiny appeared in Huo's mind. His sensitivity also increased greatly, allowing him to predict the future to a certain extent, and be warned of trouble or anything good that was about to happen. Oh. The Eye of Destiny shut, but even when Huo opened his normal eyes, he was shocked. He didn't expect to come across something like this when he used the Eye of Destiny to search for the paths of destiny. Danger. Opportunity. It was a little unclear, but he could definitely sense the presence of both danger and opportunity. This was new, surprising him. What was going on? Huo tensed up. Although the Eye of Destiny only gave unclear answers, he did sense that the dangers came before the opportunities. It seemed as if some countless dangers were waiting for him in the mountains far away. This was a very ominous sign. However, he wouldn't back off when he was already here. Moreover, the Eye of Destiny didn't give him any sense of fatal danger. Proceed with caution. Huo set himself this careful strategy. Huo slowed down as they continued once more. He stopped almost every 15 minutes to make adjustments. While they offered, the two ladies were rejected by him to take control of the all-terrain exploration vehicle. He only required them to be at their optimal fighting conditions at all time. Them seeing Huo so cautious, they didn't dare to say anything. It was always good to be more cautious. Even KK didn't appear to be annoyed anymore. After 2 hours, they were on the way to the top of the third mountain. This was the final destination set by Huo for the day. They would be spending the night on the mountain peak. They finally ran into some problems earlier. 2 golden tigers with 3,000 years of cultivation had stopped them from advancing. The golden tigers in the Jingyang mountain range were very strong. Huo had only been able to penetrate an inch into their tough skulls. Even when using the dark golden terraclaws, they still died, but a lot of time had been wasted killing them. It wasn't simple to best their resilient bodies. After a day's worth of observation, Huo discovered that the metal-type soul beasts in the Jingyang mountain range were stronger than average soul beasts. However, the other types of soul beasts weren't much weaker. They'd ran into a wind-type noble rock with 10,000 years of cultivation as well, which was also the strongest soul beast they saw today, but it was still scared off by the 2 golden tigers. This showed how dominant the metal-type soul beasts were in the Jingyang mountain range. However, Huo couldn't hear a peep from the soul beasts that he really wanted to meet. No more spiritual-type soul beasts appeared. Spiritual-type soul beasts were indeed very rare, no matter which part of the continent you look for them. Fortunately, this was only the first day. Huo still had patience to spare. He decided to venture inwards up to the 5th mountain peak as the limit based on his Eye of Destiny's prediction. He wouldn't venture any further in past that. He would then proceed to move perpendicularly to conduct his search. If he didn't make progress in the next 5 days, he would retreat. After all, his safety was paramount. They finally reached the top of the mountain. There was an important reason for choosing to rest at the top of the mountain. The all-terrain exploration vehicle was most adept at escaping from a high ground. As a ball-shaped entity, it could roll down a moderately low slope. It wouldn't be easy for a soul beast to chase them down. Of course, the soul masters inside the all-terrain exploration vehicle wouldn't find it very comfortable. Huo didn't start up a fire, but he still whipped up a delicious meal for the ladies. Earlier, Huo had retrieved the tastiest loin from the golden tiger. Then, using the white tiger dagger, he cut out thin strips of meat. Tiger meat was generally a tinge sour. Usually speaking, it wouldn't taste nice without appropriate cooking methods. Fresh tiger meat tasted better than normal meats, but how many people had a chance to eat it? Before Huo cut the fresh tiger meat into pieces, he had already prepared a condiment. It was a new slightly spicy sauce, but it was very refreshing. After the tiger's meat was marinated, it became very tender. Not only did the sour and fishy taste disappear, somehow it developed a wild taste. However, Huo didn't let them eat too much of it. He knew it wasn't easy to digest raw tiger meat, even though it's very nutritious. He came up with another sauce and used it to make a salad. He added some dried foods to the salad, which tasted pretty addictive themselves. KK and Juzi discovered that their sisterly affections for Huo increased every time they tasted his cooking. What will we do at night? After having dinner, the 3 of them formed a circle. The mountain breeze was chilly at night, and gusts of mist floated by, causing their outerwear to be wet. However, it wasn't a good idea to pitch a tent here, because they might meet a soul beast anytime. Huo pointed at the metal ball behind him and said, "We can only sleep in it. The 2 of you can rest. I'll stand guard outside. If there's any movement, I'll inform you immediately." Juzi said, "Let me relieve you at midnight." KK added, "Let's make it 4 hours per person." Huo smiled and replied, "All right, don't worry and go to sleep. I'll call for you when your time comes." The ladies returned to the all-terrain exploration vehicle and shut the crystal door, completely isolating themselves from the chill outside. Huo leaned against the metal ball and sat down. Although the mountain breeze was very chilly, it meant nothing to him. He was someone with ultimate ice. This was a suitable place for him to cultivate, rather than harmful. He shut his eyes and sat cross-legged. His spiritual detection spread out, and his soul power circulated in his meditative state. This was a major benefit of using Huo's second mental sea. He could leave a shred of consciousness in his second mental sea and adjust his soul power to use his spiritual detection to sense the conditions around him. He could also rest part of his mind in primary spiritual sea. It was like sleeping with one eye open. If he discovered something, his mind could be activated quickly, which was why he had no intention of asking them to relieve him. The sky was getting darker, and the starlight dimmed. Gusts of thick fog blew past, and visibility became very poor. The chill had no effect on Huo though. His body temperature was even lower than the temperature outside. The ultimate ice caused his soul power cultivation to proceed at a snail's pace, but his foundation was very solid. No soul master at the same level could compare with him in this aspect. Water was the foundation of ice. The water element in the air was very beneficial to Huo's cultivation. Furthermore, the natural chi of heaven and earth was providing nourishment amidst the mountains of the outside world. His cultivation would accelerate here. There was a great feeling to cultivating deep in the mountains. Huo could sense everything that changed within a 500-meter radius, and he sighed to himself. No wonder soul beasts would rather live in the deep mountains, swamps or a forest. The spiritual energy was just so very nourishing. Oh. Huo shivered. Although he hadn't discovered anything with his spiritual detection, his hair still stood on end. What's going on? Huo Yuao stopped meditating, stunned. He trusted in his own instincts. These sudden warnings and his intense reaction signified that the impending danger was terrifying. He knocked on the crystal door twice. It wasn't loud, but the ladies were jolted awake. We may be in trouble. Don't come out, but be prepared to attack. Juzi, remain in the main control pod. If things get out of hand, don't bother with me and just roll down the mountain. I'll find a way to escape. Huo Yuao said softly. The composure and tension in his voice completely woke Juzi and KK up. What did you discover? Juzi opened a glass window and asked softly. As she spoke, some metal clanging sounds could already be heard from her and KK's body. They were preparing their offensive soul tools for battle. Huo Yuao shook his head slightly and said, I'm still unsure, but I'm far more sensitive than most people. I believe that a huge problem is coming. Huo Yuao took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. Although he had made significant improvements over the last 2 years, he was still only at rank 40 at the moment. He couldn't compare with truly powerful figures. His spiritual detection changed from an radial detection to a one-directional detection as Huo Yuao scanned his surroundings. The one-directional detection could stretch out to a kilometer if he didn't use the Eye of Destiny. This wasn't the time to conserve soul power, so he initiated his spiritual detection to the fullest and scanned downslope. The 2 windows of the all-terrain exploration vehicle were open, 2 black cannons poking out from them. Each cannon's caliber was greater than 100 millimeters, both operated by KK, who was carrying a cannon on each shoulder. Juzi sat in the main control pod, ready to move the all-terrain exploration vehicle at a moment's notice. Huo Yuao didn't unleash any soul tools, but he watched his surroundings very sharply. When his entire body made a full revolution, his expression was extremely dismal before he finished. Silent figures were already gathering towards the top of the mountain from all directions. They didn't make a sound, but the invisible threats clenched at Huo Yuao's heart. A pack of wolves. It's a pack of golden wolves. We're surrounded. There are at least 3 10,000-year golden wolves leading more than 100-year to 1,000-year wolves. They'll be here in less than 3 minutes. Be prepared to escape. I believe they won't be able to resist the all-terrain exploration vehicle if it rolls over them. Juzi and KK were stunned. These golden wolves were in fact metal-type wolves. They were actually soul beasts under the metal element. Although they weren't as powerful as the golden lion, tiger, panther, or bear metal-type soul beasts, they were much quicker, and they moved in packs. In the Jingyang mountain range, all metal-type soul beasts show more ability in fighting than the other soul beasts by at least 30%. In addition, there were even 3 10,000-year soul beasts leading this pack. This spelled trouble. Even if Huo Yuao and the girls couldn't be killed so easily, their energy would be depleted rapidly. Yuao, get in. Let's roll them down together. Juzi called anxiously. Huo Yuao shook his head in refusal. No, I can't leave. These golden wolves were sent by a silver wolf. I can sense the silver wolf's aura. If I'm not wrong, the silver wolf's soul ring should be suitable for my 4th soul ring. Leave first. Don't worry about me. I'll find a way out. No, it's too dangerous. There's more than 100 golden wolves out there. Juzi wanted to come out as she spoke. Huo Yuao pressed against the door and said, I know how I can get out, but if I'm really stuck, I can just use a flying type soul tool to escape. Be careful now. I'm sending the both of you off. As he spoke, his palms were covered in diamond crystals. His arms exerted an immense force, and the controlling crane capturing dragon fully unleashed the mysterious heaven technique, in cohesion with Huo Yuao's physical strength. He lifted 2 of the metal bowl's legs and pushed them forward. At the same time, the heavy all-terrain exploration vehicle shifted backwards. Juzi and KK cried out in exclamation simultaneously. Huo Yuao's voice rang in their ears. Don't bother worrying about me. Let's meet at our rendezvous point later. I'll be fine. Don't turn back. Just keep rolling. The top of this mountain wasn't very wide, so the all-terrain exploration vehicle immediately lost its balance and nearly rolled off the side. Juzi's decisiveness was displayed at this moment. While KK was still very displeased with Huo Yuao and wanted to question his decisions, Juzi had already shut the 2 open windows. The 6 mechanical legs shrank, and a huge amount of rubber spewed out of the all-terrain exploration vehicle. This caused the surface of the all-terrain exploration vehicle to become very springy. Its scent was concealed by the rubber as well. The all-terrain exploration vehicle rolled down the mountain, and the 2 ladies inside rolled around interior of the all-terrain exploration vehicle. The protective mechanism in the all-terrain exploration vehicle finally took effect. The internal area was separated from the outer surface layer, which let the central springs rapidly reduce its bouncing and increase the stability inside the soul tool. Huo Yuao was relieved as he watched the metal ball roll down the mountain. He couldn't let them see some of his abilities. It was less strenuous on him if they were around, yes, but he also couldn't unleash his full power. He wasn't lying when he said he had felt a 10,000-year silver wolf's presence earlier. As a spiritual type soul master, Huo Yuao knew the importance of a suitable spiritual type soul ring, and he couldn't let go of such a great opportunity. Otherwise, it would prove to be very difficult to find this 10,000-year silver wolf later, given its ingenuity. Ever since he started training for the ultimate soldier plan, he'd never once burst forth with his full abilities. Even he himself didn't know the limit of his current cultivation's might. However, today was as good an opportunity as any to test out his abilities. Only in the face of a true threat could his potential truly be unlocked. He wasn't afraid of a 10,000-year soul beast, even if it was of the metal element. He already specialized in fighting many opponents. Moreover, he thrived in situations where he was outnumbered. Otherwise, what was the point of the ultimate soldier plan? His hands drooped down beside his body, and Huo Yuao's eyes emitted a dim golden glow. The gentle gold contained a thick aura of austerity. Come. Huo Yuao's mind and energy were at their peak. His spiritual detection told him that the all-terrain exploration vehicle had attracted a few golden wolves as it rolled down. They had chased after it. This was also a small part of his plan. Right now, his plan was to distract these wolves. Making the wolves run around was bound to cause confusion and mess up their formation. Huo Yuao threw a silver figure into the air. Following that, a reverberating boom resounded in midair. A subtle azure blue radiance appeared on Huo Yuao's left arm, which was a trace of his ice explosion technique. The silver wolf's corpse turned into powder in midair and scattered. A thick, bloody scent diffused across the mountaintop. If one wasn't merciless enough in the world of soul beasts, where survival of the fittest was the rule, one wouldn't be able to survive. At this point, Huo Yuao had retracted a little hint of compassion hiding in his heart and made himself more cold-blooded. Pathetic wolf howls could be heard from the midway point up the mountain. The pack of wolves evidently realized that Huo Yuao already discovered them. The all-terrain exploration vehicle that rolled off the mountain lost the silver wolf's scent and no longer captured their attention. The pack of wolves didn't bother with concealing themselves anymore, and burst forth with the fastest speeds they had towards the peak. Crisp, clanging sounds rang on Huo Yuao's body, and metal cases started appearing. They emitted an eerie, dark golden color. The metal cases were stacked on his shoulders, arms, chest and back, the sides of his legs, his waist, etc. There were 18 of them. Every metal case seemed to be rather heavy, and made Huo Yuao's person seem to tower high. The first golden wolf finally drifted into Huo Yuao's view. It was indeed different from the golden wolves found in other places. Its muscles protruded underneath glowing fur, and made it seem very burly. A bloodthirsty gaze from it was instantly fixed on Huo Yuao's body. It roared furiously and leapt towards Huo Yuao. It lifted its blade-sharp front claws and slashed towards Huo Yuao. Huo Yuao estimated that this golden wolf should be among the strongest for its cultivation. Huo Yuao took half a step back. Only a series of clanging noises resonating could be heard. A layer of white flashed on one of the metal cases on his left wrist before disappearing. That golden wolf's figure froze in the air. Although it was still in a leaping stance, it started to howl pathetically. 16 transparent holes appeared in its fur, which was supposed to be defensively sound. This was part of the frightening penetrative ability belonging to the Juga divine crossbow, which instantly pierced through the golden wolf's body. The crossbows on Huo Yuao's body were completely charged beforehand. They had to be recharged once every 3 days. Huo Yuao had already prepared them long before he'd entered the Jingyang mountain range. This golden wolf became the first victim of his Juga divine crossbow. Huo Yuao reached out with his left hand and grabbed the golden wolf's corpse. He sealed its wounds with ice and then threw the corpse to one side with a flick of his wrist as he opted not to use the ice explosion technique on its body. The Juga divine crossbows he was currently using were different from the ones that he'd created in front of Sun Zuen. They were made from better materials and more meticulous craftsmanship. They could be fired 3 times and were top-grade class 5 soul tools. This meant that the 18 slots in the Juga divine crossbow could fire 54 times in total, which was the reason that Huo Yuao was so confident. It's pertinent to note that the Juga divine crossbow could also be fired extremely easily. He only needed to use a tinge of his soul power to initiate the cumulative formation formation arrays within them. The rest of the firing mechanism was completed by the soul tool itself, the end result being that the charged power would fire the arrows. Their destructive ability was also extremely great. Another 7 golden wolves had already reached the mountaintop by the time the first golden wolf was thrown to the side. All of them rushed towards Huo Yuao. Their cultivations varied from 300 to 2,000 years, which was evident from their size and muscle density. Huo Yuao initiated his spiritual detection and moved extremely quickly. He used the ghost shadow perplexing track to burst towards the smallest golden wolf, and then lifted both of his arms, causing a crisp, clanging sound to resonate. He fired the Juga divine crossbows, causing several sharp arrows to pierce into the golden wolf's flesh and for them to howl in pain. He didn't even need to use his spiritual detection to know that 2 of the golden wolves had collapsed. Huo Yuao had reached the smallest golden wolf at this point, his figure flashing to the side as he dodged its attack. At the same time, he used his dark golden terror claws to sever the wolf's spinal cord through its neck, instantly killing it. Huo Yuao lifted his toes off the ground, but his entire body froze in place for a moment. He transferred the golden wolf's corpse to his left hand and then made a turn the upper half of his body as he threw the corpse towards 3 golden wolves who just reached the top of the mountain. The Juga divine crossbow was unleashed once again when he turned around, instantly taking down the golden wolves that had intended to attack him from behind. Boom! The ice explosion technique was initiated, causing the 300-year golden wolf's corpse to become an incredibly effective bomb that flipped the 3 golden wolves leaping towards Huo Yuao. Huo Yuao quickly turned and grabbed another golden wolf corpse with his left hand. He injected the ice explosion technique into it, then flung the corpse out as he lifted his right foot off the ground. The advantage his spiritual detection gave him was clearly demonstrated at this point. The corpse he thrown landed at the edge of the mountain at the same time as when the majority of the pack of golden wolves reached the top of the mountain. Blood and flesh scattered amidst an explosion. Several golden wolves had been blown apart. Huo Yuao continued to grab wolf corpses with his left hand, causing the golden wolves that perished under his crossbows to continuously be turned into bombs from his ice explosion technique one by one. Then he flung out. As explosions continued to resound, it soon felt like the entire Jingyang mountain range was shaking. Sonorous echoes could be heard from between the mountains. Over 30 golden wolves had been killed, just like that. Huo Yuao had only wasted half of his Juga divine crossbows arrows, while the majority of the golden wolves had been killed with his ice explosion technique. Huo Yuao's ice explosion technique achieved an effect similar to the envoy of the death god's corpse explosion. The difference was that the envoy of the death god's corpse explosion was a soul skill similar to a lethal poison, in that it needed some time to transform a corpse. On the other hand, Huo Yuao couldn't use his technique on a large group of corpses at the same time, but his ice explosion technique could be unleashed faster. The only problem was that he needed to manually inject the ice explosion technique into the corpse. However, the benefit lay in that it had a negligible impact on Huo Yuao's soul power. A class 6 milk bottle appeared in Huo Yuao's hands, and he quickly restored his depleted soul power. Meanwhile, the pack of golden wolves had stopped rushing to the top of the mountain. The string of deaths had evidently left them fearful. They were all waiting for their leader to appear. Huo Yuao was also waiting. It would be a good idea for him to escape right now, as the golden wolves wouldn't be able to stop him. However, his target wasn't this pack of golden wolves. He was still waiting for his target to appear. He put the Juga divine crossbows on his arms away, as they'd been completely expended. This freed up his arms, after which he lightly flexed his dark golden terror claws, causing dark golden light to ripple through the air. They weren't stained with blood even though Huo Yuao had used them to kill a golden wolf earlier. Huo Yuao's eyes suddenly brightened, and he turned to face a certain direction. 3 figures jumped up and lined themselves up in front of him. They were 3 unusually large golden wolves, each of which was more than 4 meters long. Their thick bodies resembled huge bears, and they stood on their hind limbs, which were especially developed. Their foreclaws also looked just as sharp and ferocious as Huo Yuao's dark golden terror claws. Their eyes were also blood red rather from the common brown. Bloodthirsty auras were continuously released from their bodies. They were 10,000-year golden wolves and were the leaders of the pack. Based on their auras and soul power undulations, their cultivations lay somewhere between 10,000 and 20,000 years. However, their practical fighting strength should be beyond 20,000 years. This was the first time that Huo Yuao had seen such strong soul beasts. Although he was confident in himself, he wasn't completely confident that could deal with these golden wolves. However, he didn't have a choice, as a slim silver figure had also appeared behind the wolves when they revealed themselves. This silver wolf was 3 meters long and wasn't as developed as the golden wolves. However, it was more slender and still well built, and a crescent-shaped patch of silverish white fur lay on its forehead. Its silver eyes looked as if they were about to spurt fire as they stared at Huo Yuao. They were filled with hatred and resentment. Both parties appeared very restrained and quiet at this point. Normal strategy dictated that the 3 golden wolves should have surrounded Huo Yuao in a triangular formation. However, they hadn't adopted this formation. Instead, they were facing him from one direction. It was obvious that the silver wolf's safety was a higher priority to them. The silver wolf was a Silvermoon wolf king, a 10,000-year soul beast, and the same soul beast that Huo Yuao was looking for. Huo Yuao wasn't afraid at all now. Instead, he was a little excited. Fear had completely vanished from his head and had been replaced with composure. He didn't need to clash with the golden wolves. His only objective was to kill the Silvermoon wolf king behind them and bring its soul ring away successfully. However, this would be a difficult task. The rest of the golden wolves didn't attempt to rush to the top of the mountain, as the top of the mountain wasn't very large. If too many of them were together, it wouldn't be advantageous for their leaders. Huo Yuao's use of the wolves' corpses to unleash his ice explosion technique was also another important reason for them being afraid of coming to the top of the mountain. Huo Yuao suddenly made his move. He leapt forwards like an arrow, actively launching an attack. The moment his body moved, a golden vertical eye opened on his forehead. A mighty aura that seemed to be in control of destiny was suddenly released. The 3 golden wolves and the Silvermoon wolf king that had already prepared their own strategy were stunned by this, and an indescribable fear filled their hearts. At that point, a streak of purplish light shot out from the eye of destiny, its target being the Silvermoon wolf king. Yes. This was the strongest spiritual type strike that Huo Yuao could currently unleash, the staring soul of destiny. The Silvermoon wolf king was a soul beast with extremely great amount of spiritual power, but its body began to shake tremendously, and it screamed ferociously when its gaze met Huo Yuao's eye of destiny. A light suddenly shot out from its head as it tried to resist destiny, and Huo Yuao's staring soul of destiny. This light was blue, red, yellow, green, gold, black, and purple. When it appeared, the air around the Silvermoon wolf king began to distort. It distorted so greatly that even the Silvermoon wolf king's body began to become indistinguishable. When the purplish golden light that was filled with the might of destiny struck the 7-colored light, it caused it to distort furiously. It turned into a huge whirlpool that wanted to crush Huo Yuao's staring soul of destiny. A white projection appeared behind Huo Yuao. This projection had a swollen, extremely plump body, but 10 golden patterns surfaced on its body. The entire projection flashed once before disappearing. However, the staring soul of destiny's radiance became even brighter. The 7-colored whirlpool was then crushed, and the Silvermoon wolf king roared pitifully. Its silver eyes burst, and fresh blood flowed out of them. Its body also rolled across the ground before it managed to stop itself and force itself to stand back up. It was extremely powerful. Huo Yuao wasn't excited now. He was shocked. The staring soul of destiny was his strongest spiritual attack. He was capable of threatening a 7-ring soul sage with it. When he unleashed his attack, the eye of destiny had already increased the intensity of his attack to its highest point, and had sucked out almost all of the spiritual power in his second mental sea. It had even borrowed the side dream ice worm's spiritual power to complete the attack. It was an attack that he could only use once a day. Huo Yuao had once unleashed this strike against a 2,000-year soul beast during a test in the ultimate soldier plan. That soul beast had instantly died, its head exploding. The Silvermoon wolf king should have only just reached the 10,000-year level. However, it had still managed to withstand Huo Yuao's attack. Huo Yuao had even borrowed the side dream ice worm's strength and spiritual power to increase his own power in order to make it unbearable for the Silvermoon wolf king. Yet the Silvermoon wolf king hadn't died, even though its eyes had burst. This had put a little dent in Huo Yuao's plan. Everything seemed to have happened very slowly, but all of this actually occurred extremely quickly. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.